All right, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Friday, January 28th, 2022. So markets rallying up here into the close here in the final really hour or so. We put in a bottom around 230. Had a sell-off in the beginning, a little bit of a kind of bearish pattern here, reversed, and then went higher, ripped higher, and a little bit of a dip into the afternoon, back testing this 432 area. If we take a look back here, you can see that's where you broke out of, back testing that, and now shooting to the upside here to close out the week. So if we take a look at the weekly time frame here, we looks like we are going to close green for the week, and barring them pushing it down into the close here. But very, very impressive rally here, and closing above the 50 moving average as well. If you take a look at the hourly, kind of had this like downtrend, and now it's starting to break out here. So and getting above the 50-hour moving average. So we could be in for a bit of a relief rally into next week. Again, a strong close here on the spiders to close out the week. And really, we talked about this yesterday. Kind of went down, up, really all week. And we went all over the place, but we didn't really go anywhere. Well, now it looks like going into the weekend, there's a little bit of direction here. And we were able to hold the lows for the time being, and take a look at that weekly volume there. So lots of volume there on this candle here for the week on the spider. So pretty good defense here of that 50 moving average, and we'll see what happens next week. Apple certainly really coming to the rescue, up 6.7% today off of earnings. So that is helping the market out there. Apple getting up to that 170 handle or just under it, into this necktie of moving averages here, but that is obviously helping market. Now, we're still not even close to being out of earnings season. We've got Alibaba, Google, Exxon, PayPal, UPS, AMD, Facebook, Qualcomm, Amazon, and a bunch of others reporting next week. So we're still into the heart of earnings season, and the market can move off of those names, obviously. But for the meantime, good showing here overall to close out the week. If we take a look at the semiconductors, definitely a weaker area this week, but it is holding the lows. You are getting back above that key area, the 258.59. That has been a level of interest for me for quite some time, and on the semiconductors. And you're holding Monday's low for now, so they're saving it. IGV able to rally back up. Nice little close here on IGV to close out the week. So tech is finally getting a little bit of a bid. All these growth stocks that are really beaten down are just, a lot of them are just due for a bounce, even if it's just a technical bounce. You're looking at the triple Qs. This is the line in the sand here, about 337. This was a previous all-time high. That got hit on Monday. We basically retested that today, and now getting a bounce off of that. So the triple Qs maybe finding their footing here. Looking at the diamond Dow Jones again, the purple trend line here, this gap fill was a key area that got hit on Monday, and the Dow has been the strongest of the four major indices, and Dow closing near the highs to end the week. Russell 2000 also been weak, but it is going to hold Monday's low pivot for the week. So, not the worst thing here. It is oversold. You got right into that 100-week moving average. And now it looks like we're going to print a doji candle. So usually, what a doji represents is equal buyers to sellers. So when you see a doji at the end of a trend like that, usually it represents a change. And, it can often represent, there's going to be a trend change coming. I don't know how high, it bounces here, but it is oversold, and like a lot of things, so it wouldn't surprise me, at least to move up to 205, maybe back testing the breakdown around 210. So that would be resistance there on the IWM, but decent rally there, really across the board in the market, and we'll give it the benefit of the doubt for now. Let's look at the Dow transports. So we talked about this level here. We can get the Dow transports to come up. There we go. So we talked about this level being critical. It is going to hold. So again, a lot of these charts are looking the same. They hit critical levels on Monday. They tested them throughout the week, and it looks like some of them are going to back test, or almost all of them are going to back test positively. Home builders as well, holding Monday's low, holding these pivots here. So home builders holding up. If we look at rates are pulling back a little bit, and that is good for home builders and the real estate stocks and stuff like that. But again, nothing has really changed on rates. This is still a nice bullish pattern here on the 10-year, and you got the same thing on the 30-year, but rates pulling back a little bit today, and that is giving the market a little bit of a bid, starting to cool off fears. But it's not really a matter of if, it's when rates move up again. That's when you're going to see the market start to freak out again. And the big question is, do we take out the lows? So if we start making a run at 2 to 2.1% on the 10-year, and to say the market comes up 450, we'll just say, and then rates start to push higher again, do we take out the lows? That's really the question. But if we don't, if we can make a double bottom and rates run into 2.1 and find resistance there, then this market could potentially hold up. But if the market doesn't break down when that's happening, or if the market starts making lower lows when that happens, then the bottom can fall out of this pretty quickly. But that's going to be, we're not there yet, but that's what you want to keep on your radar moving forward. Let's take a look. So financials here, XLF. Again, higher lows. We know financials have been strong. Nothing really new to report there. Broker dealers also holding Monday's lows. Impressive tail candle there. JPM, you guys remember the 140 level? I told you that was critical. That got a bounce. Nice little pop there. Strong close. Bank of America's been a strong name as well. Getting a bid today. Morgan Stanley's been one of the stronger financials, up over 1% today. Nice move there on Morgan Stanley. So some of the broker dealers are holding up really nicely, and the big money center banks, the smaller banks, the KBE, the KRE, those are a little bit weaker, but still on the strong side with the higher yield. Let's take a look at energy. So XLE coming back off the highs just a little bit today. Nothing terrible though. Just a bit of a doji candle. XOP, same thing. And really the same thing on the OIH. However, crude, let's take a look here. Crude making another 52-week high today. Not green on the day. I mean, you do have that red candle, but again, another higher high. So crude continues to be strong, and there's really nothing to do. If you own this, just trail your stop. If you take out, there's a low pivot, I would, maybe look at stopping out or something, or if you are, in the money on it, protect the trade, take some profit, start trimming, do something. But, crude's just been a strong name right now. Nat gas also getting another bid today. So this one, again, getting up to that double top, but there was I did hear reports that there was a short squeeze yesterday. So nat gas getting a nice bid here. This is a lot of shorting going on here, obviously, with this reversal. And nat gas holding up. I don't really have any sort of trade on nat gas right now. There's really no pattern. It's just all over the map. Obviously, essentially, you're going to look for a close above that 100 moving average, close above $5, which signals strength. And then, taking down, if you took out this pivot on the downside around 378, that would be weak. But as of right now, it's such a wide range. It's such a volatile mover. There's just really nothing for me to do with it. Dollar index. Continuing strength today, up a couple pennies, nothing major here. Again, little doji, so maybe it wants to pull back a little bit next week. But again, this pattern is really strong, and this is a great weekly chart. And trend is starting to curl up here. 50 MA, 20 MA, 200 MA, they're starting to curl back up. That 100 MA is flattening out now, and so that is looking to curl up as well. But again, just a nice little consolidation pattern, pull back and then pop. So dollar is on breakout mode. And obviously that is not good for gold, which is continuing to be under pressure today. Again, they dumped it post OPEX. This is coming down here. It's got to hold 1780, and it's got to hold this trend line ultimately. Otherwise, things can get ugly pretty quick. Silver also continuing to be weak. It is holding this short-term trend line for now. But again, if this breaks, you got 22 and then 2150 again. And again, this is not the, silver was, you had this nice little trend line here. I want to say here, it was months ago, and it's been a while, but you had this kind of trend line here. And ever since that broke, there's the closing bell, by the way. Ever since that broke, silver's just been weak. So you got to be careful with it. And again, with the rising dollar, it's going to be tough for these precious metals to rise. However, the case remains strong, at least for right now, for platinum and palladium with the geopolitical tensions. But again, these two metals are a lot more news-driven right now, and palladium continuing to scratch out a gain here. But this is getting a little long in the tooth short term. But overall, these two metals have been performing well. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin getting a little bit of a bid here today, coming off the lows. Again, this is still kind of a bearish inside bar, but if you take out this pivot high from Wednesday and get up to this 40,000 handle and you can close above that, that opens the door for a move back to 44, maybe 45. But in the near term, this is kind of a bearish inside bar. So be careful with crypto right now. It's not showing a ton of strength. However, again, it is very tied to equities. In fact, it's essentially Bitcoin right now is basically like a 3 times ETF to equities. It's basically just like a ultra leveraged ETF for the equity markets. At least that's how it's behaving right now. So again, if it gets back above this 40,000 handle, that opens the door to 44, 45. If not, and the equity markets, start to sputter, this can roll over and go retest that 28,000 level. So just be aware of that for the near term on Bitcoin. Although I'd say generally right now, I'll give it an upside bias for the meantime. Last but not least, let's talk about copper. So copper just closed below this 434 pivot. So your next area here is going to be that 421. We have to go to the weekly chart for this. And if we pull up the weekly, we can still see that inside bar is intact. But if you close below 425 on a weekly basis, that is a failed inside bar, and copper will probably head right down to probably about 360, 370. So, and it'll probably do it very quickly as well. So just be aware of that. This inside bar here, low needs to hold on copper for that market to hold up. But for right now, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. But if it loses that, it will get ugly fast. Anyways, so spiders here closing up 2.5% here today. Big pop, huge short squeeze. And this is why we were saying, this is why we were peeling back our shorts on the way down. We don't have any shorts right now. We're mostly in cash here, but we really don't have any shorts because you're getting close to support. You peel it back on the way down, and now all the greedy people, all the guys who were late to the party, they were shorting into the hole on Monday, and now they're probably going to get squeezed out. So it looks like we could see a short covering rally Monday. Whenever you see a strong close like that on a Friday, it's usually a good sign for the market going into the weekend. So we'll see if we can get a relief bid. Again, that 450 area on the spiders is going to be a good short-term target. For resistance. Maybe it gets through that if we really get some momentum, but that would be kind of like your first major test for me on the market. And look how they closed it, basically right on that 200 moving average, just below it there. But interesting to see that happen. And of course, we did hold the 50 week moving average, and we closed green for the week. So we'll give the markets benefit of the doubt going into next week. Anyways, guys, come join me at carnivoretrades.com. We're just moving everything from Patreon over there now. Everything is live on there, and it's a really awesome website. Check it out if you get time. Anyways, guys, take care, and I will talk to you all next week.